Thank you, Judge Gray. The question for Judge Elmore, if you could change one aspect of the appellate process in North Carolina, whether it be court procedure, appellate rule, practice of the appellate lawyers, or something else, what would that be? Judge Rick Elmore.
Thanks for that introduction. 8 years ago, in the same building, maybe the same month, I appeared before this group as a candidate for the Court of Appeals. 2002, went on to win. I made the remark at that time that my opponent in that race, who was an attorney out of Raleigh, did not appear to offer his remarks before you. And I went on to remark that by virtue of his failure to appear, I was making a motion for summary judgment for the election. Well, that remark drew good response, and I went ahead and finished my remarks. And as I was walking back to my seat, I was passing Justice Bob Orr. And Justice Orr reached up and pulled my head down, and he said, "Rick, that was great. It's tough to get a laugh out of this group." I want to thank all of you for the endorsement, and I received that even before the primary, which was especially special because after the primary, in my case, there were 4 candidates and it knocked it down to 2. Then the endorsements were rushing my way big time. But I think it was going out on a limb, but it was very much appreciated to get that even before the primary. My question, and I want to address that right away before I make other remarks. Again, if you could change one aspect of the appellate process, what would that be? And this kind of goes toward the defense attorney group. My suggestion would be to take the life without parole, first-degree murder convictions and send those by direct appeal to the Supreme Court just as they are receiving the death penalty cases. And the reason I offer that is that having been a former defense attorney myself and tried capital cases, the severity is the same, and in my opinion, the punishment is a very fine line to be the same. Whether you die by lethal injection or you're sentenced by conviction to spending 40 or 50 years, the rest of your life, in a 6-by-8 foot cell, I think that is worthy of the same scrutiny before our Supreme Court, the highest court in North Carolina, as is the cases that go before that court by virtue of the death penalty. And as a practical matter, it would ease our Court of Appeals caseload because we do get a substantial number of cases where the defendant has been convicted of first-degree murder, whether it started out capitally or not, with a life without parole sentence, and that would be my suggestion. Qualifications, I don't really want to spend much time in that. You've got a lot of candidates here. I have a website, judgeelmore.com. Again, I was elected in 2002, so I have 8 years on the bench. My extracurriculars, in addition to our regular work, and now, sadly, in addition to campaigning statewide, I have become a member of the North Carolina Sentencing Commission for the last 4 years. I was appointed by our Chief Judge, John Martin, and I represent the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals before the Sentencing Commission, and we review proposed criminal statutes that come over from the legislature, and we apply those to the sentencing grid and try to calculate the appropriate level of punishment and then send the whole package back to the legislature. And I've really enjoyed that assignment on behalf of both of our appellate courts. As a member of the North Carolina Bar Association, what my opponent has referred to as a part of the legal establishment, and since he's not here today, I suspect he considers this group the same way as a part of the legal establishment of North Carolina. I'm proud to be a part of the legal establishment of North Carolina, and my representation as part of the North Carolina Bar Association is to be on the Appellate Rules Committee, and I've served on that the last 4 years. Unfortunately, they're meeting as we speak today in Raleigh, so I'm missing that meeting. In closing, I'm just going to ask you to please consider the unique circumstances of my race I'm up against a law clerk who is 5 years out of law school and has done nothing but clerk at the Supreme Court. It's not so much the way I look at it as sending Rick Elmore back for another 8-year term as it is in preserving the integrity of the judicial court system in North Carolina. And I'm not referring specifically to the Court of Appeals and Supreme Court. I'm bringing into play the district courts and the superior court level, because no one without practice and real-life experience in the lower courts should be a candidate for any judicial spot on our benches. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge Elmore. All candidates were invited. Some chose not to be here with us today.